Fast food companies are literally pricing out their own target customers, and the data behind this business suicide is wild. I'm talking about an industry that built its entire empire on being cheap, quick, and accessible to working class Americans, and they've somehow managed to turn themselves into luxury dining by accident. When a Big Mac meal costs more than what a minimum wage worker makes in an hour, we're not just looking at inflation anymore. We're witnessing one of the most spectacular business miscalculations in modern corporate history. And here's what makes this even more insane. This is happening during a time when people are getting laid off, student loan payments are kicking back in, and consumer debt is at record highs. Exactly when fast food should be thriving. But instead of capitalizing on economic uncertainty, these companies have decided to chase premium customers while abandoning the very people who made them billions. And the numbers I'm about to show you will make you question everything you thought you knew about how these businesses actually work. Let me start with something that's going to blow your mind. According to a LendingTree survey of 2,000 Americans, 65% of consumers said they experienced sticker shock when ordering fast food in the past 6 months. That's nearly 2/3 of everyone. But here's where it gets really wild. The same survey found that 78% of consumers now view fast food as a luxury. Fast food, the thing that was literally designed to be the opposite of luxury, is now seen as a splurge by 4 out of 5 Americans. And this isn't just perception. Finance Buzz tracked menu prices and found that the average McDonald's menu item is now twice as expensive as it was just 10 years ago. Twice in a decade. To put this in perspective, the federal minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour, the same as it was in 2009. So while McDonald's prices doubled, the purchasing power of their core customer base actually went backwards. This creates what economists call a demand destruction scenario. You price your product so high that your target market literally can't afford it anymore, and that's exactly what's happening. McDonald's just posted their biggest US sales decline in nearly 5 years. Not during a recession, not during a pandemic, during what's supposed to be a recovery period. Their own CEO admitted that low-income customers have pulled back from spending. But here's what's really fascinating. This didn't happen by accident. This was a deliberate strategy that's now backfiring spectacularly. For decades, fast food operated on what I call the loss leader model. They'd bring you in with artificially cheap basics, remember the dollar menu, and then make their real money on high margin add-ons. The burger might lose them money, but the combo meal was pure profit. This worked because most customers ordered in-store where employees could upsell them face-to-face. Would you like to make that a large? But then everything changed with delivery apps, and this is where the story gets really interesting because it reveals how a technological shift can completely destroy a business model that worked for 50 years. When DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub took over food delivery, they didn't just change how people ordered food, they fundamentally altered the economics of the entire industry. These platforms take anywhere from 15% to 30% of every order. That's a massive chunk of revenue that goes straight to a middleman. Now, you might think they just charge more on the apps to cover that cost, but here's the problem: they legally can't. Most contracts with delivery platforms include price parity clauses. The restaurant has to charge the same price on the app as they do in store, even though the app order costs them significantly more. So how do you maintain profit margins when a third of your revenue is going to DoorDash? You raise prices across the board, but you can't just say we're raising prices because of delivery fees. That would make you look bad. So instead you rebrand. And this is where the premium positioning strategy comes in. Fast food chains started talking about higher quality ingredients, artisanal preparations, and elevated experiences. They redesigned their restaurants to look more upscale. They started marketing themselves as fast casual instead of fast food. The problem is their core customers didn't ask for any of this. The single mom working 2 jobs doesn't care if the bun is artisanal. She cares if she can feed her kids for under $10. But the companies convinced themselves they could have it both ways, keep the old customers while attracting new, higher income ones. Classic business school thinking that ignores the reality of how brand positioning actually works. And here's where the data gets really damning. That LendingTree survey broke down responses by income level. Of people earning less than $30,000 a year, 71% now view fast food as a luxury because of cost. For those making $30,000 to $49,000, it's 61%. These aren't wealthy people complaining about prices. These are the exact customers fast food was designed to serve, and they're being systematically priced out. The result? 62% of Americans are eating fast food less frequently due to rising prices. When your business model depends on high volume and repeat customers, losing 62% of your frequency is catastrophic. But wait, it gets worse. Because while they were chasing premium customers and pricing out their base, fast food companies also managed to destroy their other key value proposition: speed. Remember when fast food was actually fast? Those days are gone. Average wait times have increased significantly, and in many cases, it's now faster to cook something simple at home than to get fast food. This happened for 2 main reasons. First, menu complexity exploded. McDonald's went from a simple menu of burgers, fries, and shakes to offering salads, wraps, smoothies, coffee, drinks, breakfast all day, and seasonal specials. More menu items means more ingredients to stock and more opportunities for orders to get backed up. But the bigger problem is labor. Why would you work at McDonald's for $7.25 an hour, dealing with difficult customers and a micromanaging boss, when you can deliver food for DoorDash and make $15 to $20 an hour on your own schedule? The gig economy didn't just create new opportunities, it revealed how terrible traditional fast food jobs really were, and workers voted with their feet. The result is chronic understaffing, high turnover, and a workforce that's constantly in training mode. The operational excellence that fast food was built on has completely eroded. And here's the cruel irony. The same delivery apps that are taking 30% of revenue are also poaching the workers needed to fulfill orders. It's like being attacked from both sides. So now we have an industry that's more expensive than ever, slower than ever, and less reliable than ever. They've managed to eliminate every single advantage that made fast food successful in the first place. But the real tragedy isn't what this means for McDonald's shareholders. It's what it means for the millions of Americans who depended on fast food as an affordable meal option. According to census data, about 9% of households below the federal poverty level don't have an adequately functioning kitchen. For these families, fast food wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. Think about the single parent working 2 jobs who gets off her evening shift at 10 p.m. and needs to feed her kids, or the construction worker who has 30 minutes for lunch, or the college student living in a dorm with no cooking facilities. These are the people fast food was designed to serve, and they're being abandoned. When fast food locations close because they can't maintain profitability with their new pricing strategy, those jobs disappear. It's a feedback loop that devastates entire communities. Fewer customers means fewer locations means fewer jobs means even fewer customers. But here's what's really infuriating: this was completely avoidable. There are companies that figured out how to navigate these challenges without abandoning their core customers. Take Taco Bell. While McDonald's was posting declining sales, Taco Bell increased average store sales by 9% compared to last year. How? They doubled down on value instead of running away from it. Their cravings, boxes became exactly what fast food used to be: a large quantity of food with a lot of calories for not very much money. While other chains were chasing premium customers, Taco Bell's CEO literally boasted about massive wins with low-income consumers. They proved that the demand for affordable fast food still exists. You just have to actually provide it. The difference is in business philosophy. Taco Bell's parent company, Yum Brands, doesn't invest heavily in real estate like McDonald's does. They can focus on what actually matters, getting customers in the door, instead of worrying about real estate appreciation. This reveals something crucial about how McDonald's business model became corrupted. Ray Kroc famously said he wasn't in the burger business, he was in the real estate business. And for decades, this worked brilliantly. McDonald's would buy prime real estate and essentially become the landlord for their own franchisees. But this model created a fundamental misalignment of incentives. Instead of focusing on serving customers better, corporate McDonald's became focused on real estate appreciation. And when you're thinking like a real estate company instead of a restaurant company, it becomes easy to justify pricing out your core customers. After all, the land will still be valuable even if the McDonald's closes it. But this thinking completely misses what made McDonald's successful in the first place. It wasn't the real estate, it was the system. The ability to deliver consistent, affordable food quickly and efficiently. And this brings us to the broader economic implications, because this isn't just about hamburgers. It's a canary in the coal mine for much larger structural problems. McDonald's didn't raise prices because they had to. They raised prices because Wall Street rewarded them for it. Higher prices mean higher margins. Higher margins mean better quarterly earnings. The fact that this strategy is now backfiring doesn't matter to the executives who implemented it. The people who pay the price are the workers who lose their jobs and the customers who can no longer afford the food. Some people are turning to grocery stores, but food inflation has hit there too. Others are simply eating less. We're creating a two-tier economy where quality goods and services are only available to the wealthy, while everyone else gets either nothing or substandard alternatives. But the fast food crisis is just one symptom of a much larger problem, but it's an important one because food is fundamental. When people can't afford to eat, everything else becomes secondary. And so what's the solution? Companies need to remember what business they're actually in. McDonald's isn't in the real estate business, they're in the business of feeding people quickly and affordably. They need to acknowledge that chasing premium customers while abandoning your base is a recipe for disaster. When working class Americans are struggling financially, businesses that serve them will struggle too. The companies that figure this out first, like Taco Bell has, will capture the market share that others are abandoning. Because despite what Wall Street thinks, there's still a massive demand for affordable, quick food. Someone just needs to provide it. The question is whether these companies will course correct before they price themselves out of existence. This story is far from over, and the outcome will tell us a lot about what kind of economy we're building for the future.